Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our fourth webinar now of our series this year. So great to see so many of you still coming back on. Again, we've got a real mix of companies we're talking to in projects, customers, partners, companies we don't know at all. So really delighted to have you all here. Just a couple of quick housekeeping. Again, if you have any questions, which I really hope you do, because I think this has been a real benefit of these sessions, please pop them in the chat box as we go through, and then we'll pick them up at the end and try and get through as many as possible. If any of you having any audio issues or problems viewing the screen, please raise your hand and one of my team will come on and hopefully be able to resolve the issue. So yes, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Eleanor Walsh. I'm a head of sales at Aphix, and also with me is Graham O'Rourke, who's our CEO. You there, Graham?
I am. Good afternoon, everybody.
Great. So today we're focusing on this new term D2C, which you've probably seen bandied around everywhere. It's the latest thing. But actually, there is some substance behind this when you get past the kind of marketing hype. We wanted to look at what opening a direct-to-consumer sales channel would mean for your business, whether it's something you should consider, and how you can go about that. So we'll do the kind of usual format for those of you that have been on our sessions before. Quick intro to us, a little bit of an update of where we are, what we've been doing for the last month or so. And then we'll go into D2C, what it is, what the models are that we have come across that we think are the ones that you should probably consider. We'll have a very quick kind of overview demonstration of some of the more retail features of the platform, which are appropriate here. And then, as usual, open out to any questions you may have. So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. We're Aphix. We're an Irish-owned business. Graham's over in our Irish office, and I'm over in the UK office. We've got about 35 members of the team now, and we provide a certified digital platform for companies that use Intact, SAP, Business One, or Sage for their ERP system. We offer a SaaS platform, meaning that no customer is left behind, which is our mantra. So automatically with our platform, you get all the updates, fixes, patches, new functionality that you need to run your business. We operate a direct channel, but more and more we're going through our global partner programs. We now have, I think we're about 270 deployments now worldwide, mainly UK and Ireland, but through our partner network and partner channel, we're growing increasingly globally as well. So it's been a little bit longer. I think we left 4 weeks this time in between our last webinar. So again, I thought it would be great to kind of catch up on where we are and what we've been doing and where we're finding the market again. So we actually, as a company, all decided we should all try and take a few days off. It's quite hard to take days off when you can't go anywhere, but it's very good for you to take days off. So we've all been doing that a little bit as well. We're finding our customers that maybe closed down or furloughed their staff are slowly starting to open up their businesses, and we've kind of passed the initial peak of rush inquiries that happened at the sort of start of March and April in response to the pandemic. We have a lot more orders or inquiries coming in globally, as I mentioned before, which is quite exciting for us. And for the first time, we've onboarded quite a few members of our team completely remotely. So we are all still working remotely from home. And we already had plans in place for growth. We already had people that we wanted to bring on board. So we've managed to bring, I think, 4 people now on board with us, working as part of the team, and we've not met in the office yet, which is quite something, really. The other thing I wanted to really talk about was some figures that are actually presented in one of our last management meetings on the usage of our platform. So because we operate a SaaS platform, we can get access to the figures of the usage, which is really, really good. So we compared May this year to May last year, and the brilliant piece was actually the number of orders going through the site, of going through the platform, was up 71% on last year. So as head of sales, I'd love to take full credit for the fact that we've sold that much more in the last year, but that would not entirely be true. We have sold quite a lot of the new platforms, but a lot of this is customers increasing the volumes that they're getting through the platform. We're really trying to encourage and support our customers to embrace more of the platform and to get more of their own customers transacting with them online. So that was great to see. Interesting point was, though, that the average order value has dropped, and it's dropped by kind of a range because we have a number of very big B2B businesses that take very big orders of, 100,000 or whatever, that suddenly swamp these figures. So it's anywhere between 4 and 20%. So really the kind of trend we're seeing is a lot more orders of slightly less value, which I think is an indicator, as we're going to talk about now, around this sort of move into direct to consumer selling. And as you're probably all fed up of hearing, mobile traffic is up again significantly. It actually rose most between February and May because we all closed down our desktops and went home and been working much more remotely via mobile devices. So anything you do, mobile first is the kind of message there. And then just got this quote a couple of days ago, actually. I was preparing for the webinar and our CTO messaged me and said, I've just had this message from one of our customers, and he thought it would be quite fitting. And I think actually it really is the reason that we're talking to you about this today. So this is a customer of ours. We work with them in Europe and in the States. They're a global manufacturer of industrial tools and abrasives. And they said, since the COVID outbreak, all the $1 million customers just completely shut down because the world stopped making cars and trains. Our smaller retail customers all became critical to the business. The customers who were once too small to manage became the most important. So yeah, something to think about. And this is a big, big company. So we're going to step into now, what is direct to consumer? What is all this talk about? So, you lift the lid and you think, oh, well, it's just B2C, it's just retail, it's just going to, a customer that's going to pay with a credit card. And actually, it is a little bit more than that. If you are a retail business and you want to set up a B2C site, you're generally geared up to working with end customers. Your operations, your fulfillment, everything's set up for retail customers. D2C is traditionally for manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, people who have been away from the end customer that now want to open up this sales channel. And it isn't just about one sales channel. With D2C, it's about this sales channel as part of a combination of different other sales channels with different propositions, pricing, branding maybe as well. So it's being part of a mix. Traditionally, any D2C channel has been the smallest part of the mix. It may be the tiny little bit that you do just to sell the spare parts, quite a traditional thing, but it's actually growing. So many businesses, when businesses had to lock down and retail outlets had to lock down at the start of the pandemic, so many businesses couldn't get their products out to market. And so they very quickly had to adapt to new ways to sell, whether it was going through Facebook or putting things on eBay or whatever it might be, because otherwise they weren't able to sell their products. So the three D2C models that we've identified is direct to consumer as an extension. So opening up B2C on your current B2B platform. B2B2C, where you control your customer, who's a business, end customer. I'll talk about a little bit, it's a little bit easier to see graphically. And direct to consumer, D2C, as a completely separate brand. That's another option that you've got here as well. And very quickly, before we get into these models, these are sort of questions again that I would put to you to think about as to why you should consider this. So again, these are not right and wrong answers, it's things to think about your business in particular, and is this something that's quite pertinent to you? So, is this a kind of insurance policy, as many people have spoken about? If you take up a channel where you're going direct to the consumers, you're in some way protecting yourself because you're decreasing the reliance on other channels. And I think one of the things that our customers in particular are really good at is managing multiple sales channels to market with, as I said before, different propositions, different branding, different pricing. So the more channels you get, the less reliance you get if one or two of them or three of them stop for some reason. If you're really, really hot on your brand and your brand's reputation, it's something you really want to hold dear, then obviously if you go direct to the end customer, you are much able to protect your brand and what it stands for. Pricing is a real key point here, because as we go further and further down a supply chain, the margins get tighter and tighter, and everything is getting squeezed right now anyway. So if you can jump over 3 or 4 parts of your supply chain, potentially you've got a little bit more margin, or you can offer products more competitively priced. If you sell products that are hard to find, this is definitely something you should consider. So although we think of retail and then we think of kind of consumer goods and things, direct to consumer is quite different. If you sell something that you can buy anywhere, you can go to the supermarket, you can go to your local shop, you can, order it on Amazon really easily. There's probably less compelling reasons to go direct to consumer. But if you sell something that's quite difficult to find, quite unusual, quite specialist, then actually this is a great channel for you, because there will be somebody in the world looking for what you've got. And if you can make it available to them, then obviously you can gain new customers. Customer relationship, can you add some value by going direct to the consumer? Can you add some more information? Can you add a new range of products just for your direct to consumer customers? And is it a great strategy for a new market? I would say yes. If you want to try targeting a new type of customer or a new geographical area, go in D2C, quite low entry, quite low cost. It's a great way to test it out. So we'll just step through these 3 models and then we'll get into some software, because I don't want to PowerPoint you all. So we're just talking initially now about opening direct to consumer as an extension. So you could just start a retail shop, or if you've got a B2B e-commerce site already, something like Aphix, then it's quite simple to then enable your retail customers and allow to go B2C as well. So Graham, are you there?
I'm indeed, yes, Eleanor.
Cool, thanks. So we have many customers that will have one website and have B2B and B2C. That's probably one of our kind of selling points, isn't it?
It is, and I think you've pointed out specialist products before, but also there is we're talking about direct to consumer, but that consumer could be a small trader, it could be a small business of another type. So that's also quite a common model, where we have non-account, or what in some sectors you may call cash sale customers, as well as end consumers, as we might understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes people don't like gated websites, do they? They just prefer to go onto a website that they can just access very easily. And so the things you need to consider around this model are much more around, SEO and pricing and credit cards and guest checkout and all the things. If you're more of a traditional business to business organization, you've probably never thought of before. So again, that's something that we help quite a lot of our customers with, isn't it, Graham? Those sort of first steps into going into B2C.
Yes, absolutely. So I think, as you mentioned earlier, your business is set up as a B2B business, a wholesale distribution business. And in the past, people have shied away from maybe going direct because of the logistics, because of the fulfillment issues, returns, etc. And that could cause a lot of work in an organization, and it is definitely a different business model. But what we find is that by customers taking advantage of our platform, we're able to automate and integrate these systems together, so they can be offered quickly and easily and integrated into your ERP, so that things like managing separate retail price lists suddenly becomes very easy. Payment gateways are available, all the standard global players on the Aphix platform, and the payment transaction can be actually entered against the account on the ERP system. So there's no manual entry even of payment transactions. So this means you can focus on the marketing, promotion, and delivery of the direct-to-consumer model.
So one of our customers that has done this actually really recently is Abcon. Do you want to talk through them, Graham?
Yeah, so Abcon are a long-standing customer of ours. They actually started with us using our field sales solution, which is our sales rep app. And they're a very global company, again, supplying a very specialist product into a global market. But they decided to go B2C this year because they wanted to obviously look at an opportunity. They were getting lots of feedback from the market that there was an opportunity for small customers in particular, where maybe they wanted to offer them a standard price. And obviously they wanted those small customers to self-service. So going direct and offering e-commerce made complete sense. They also saw that this new customer segment might bring them into new markets. So there's a little bit of understanding what the demand is in different parts of the world, as well as in their local market. So that was a really interesting. And they had a little bit of competitor pressure. They could see their competitors starting to do this, So they wanted to make sure they had an offering. So they started the project only recently, just before COVID hit, and so it's just newly launched. They're still finding their feet, but already they're seeing demand coming direct from that smaller customer segment.
And it was quite a simple project. I think there was a small delay when they had to pause for things on e-commerce related, but it was quite simple as they already had the B2B to add on the B2C. That wasn't a big job.
Exactly. And of course, like many of our customers, there's a lot of work gone into the electronic catalog on the Aphix
Mm.
platform. So, the images, the products, the detail, the technical specifications. So being able to leverage that really quickly by turning on a B2C or direct to consumer website really helps this. It means you can respond really quickly to the market. And of course, with the Aphix platform, you can decide what products you want to sell direct and which ones you want to retain and sell B2B.
Brilliant. So this one here, this is B2B2C, and I actually think, Graham, you're better at describing this than I am, if that's okay.
Sure. So in order, it comes back to this online catalog again, I guess. And
Mm.
as a wholesale distribution business, a lot of our customers have quite large catalogs, often thousands, if not tens of thousands of product lines. And so if you can make it easier for your customers to sell on to the consumer, obviously they'll sell more of your product. So this is a classic kind of help your supply chain to sell. You're supporting that customer of yours directly. And you might do that by giving them the digital catalog. You may do that by even keeping it up to date with new product information and just making sure they can get that product out to the market, get it out on their own website. And they're probably the best people to know how to promote that with the consumer. So having systems that align, so their retail website is fed from the Aphix platform and the Aphix platform is connected to your ERP. So making that chain really, really easy is important. So one example we give is Quality Tractor Parts, really leading supplier, quite a global business now of tractor parts, selling across UK, across Europe, the Middle East, and now into the United States. So they're able to run their own store, but it's completely B2B. There's no pricing exposed, but having the catalog there means they get inquiries from potential customers all of the time. Those customers open up accounts and those customers open up websites. The problem is, of course, they have to populate that website with a full catalog that's quite complex. You've got to have all the parts for a tractor. They've all got to be, connected to the different makes and models. Search is a real problem. So what we're able to do here is offer that end customer a fully formed website, pre-populated with a complete catalog. They start selling and those orders immediately go back to QTP. So as each of QTP's customers grow, QTP grows as well.
Great. So yeah, I think when I first came across this model, I found it quite unique, but I have to say in the last 6 months, I've had quite a few conversations about this model because I think if you can get this right, the growth is significant.
Yes, and we have a number of different solutions we can put in place to help. The one I've explained is a typical one, and
Mm.
we've seen this with buying groups quite a lot as well. So,
Yeah.
but the buying group, has members. Those members all need to sell online, and the common challenge they face is the management and production of that electronic catalog for their e-commerce
Mhm.
website.
Fantastic. And yes, the last one that we come across again is just to spin up a separate brand. So spinning up a separate brand for D2C, obviously you're less likely to upset existing distributor relationships because you do have to consider this in this whole mix. But you can get some branding that's really appropriate for your audience. And actually, if this takes off, it's somehow often it's quite easier to manage the growth if it's more of a separate entity and a brand in its own right. Again, you've got to think about more of the functionality around SEO and pricing and gateways. You also need to think a bit more about stock potentially. Are you going to ring fence stock for this brand, or are you going to share stock across your two brands? And then if who has priority, that kind of thing. So there's a lot more to work through again in terms of behind the scenes. but it's fairly simple to again spin up another site, but with different branding and a different sort of proposition to your D2C customers. And one of our customers has done this quite well is Clipper. If you want to talk a little bit about Clipper, Graham.
Sure. So Clipper Retail, again, a UK-based company selling into the UK, but also quite global. So they sell product to retailers, so for display of in-store products. So everything from hangers to rails to size clips on clothing. So they sell all of those products that are needed in a retailer. So obviously there are a lot of small retailers who may want to buy that product. The parent company is a company called Secura, and having a Clipper retail focused brand obviously gives the customer the best buying experience. It gives a focus to the website because we can hone in on just the products that are relevant to this target market. It allows us to sell it in a very consumer friendly way. It allows us to have separate, obviously, terms, conditions, facilities, credit card payments, all without disrupting the main wholesale distribution parent company. So we think that's very important. Obviously, consumers do all of their research online beforehand before they call us anymore. And that's obviously very true in retail, in B2C areas, but it's also true, obviously, as a B2B buyer. So it is really important that the product is presented well, and obviously using a separately branded website allows that to happen. It also means they can be very successful from a search point of view. Again, being able to optimize this website for that all-important Google search. In this case, they're also planning to launch the website in multiple territories. So we've started with a UK-based site. We may look to launch in Canada, in the US, and in other markets.
Great, thank you. So just for those of you that are new again, I just thought I would step through again the platform, because what we've mentioned a lot in those three models is about the platform and the sort of extensibility of it. So if you work with one of our ERPs, that's fundamentally the foundation of any Aphix solution. So pricing, stock, products, customers, that's all going to come from within the ERP, particularly when we're looking at B2B. But then within the Aphix digital platform, that's where you enhance and enrich those products, set up your branding. You can set up a retail price list within there if you prefer. You can manage any retail customers within the platform as well. So we take what we need as a foundation from the ERP and we build on it within Aphix. And then once you have that platform there with all this information, then you do have these different channels out to market that you can use. And obviously the benefit, there's a lot of shared information within there. So if we take the example of Abcon, they started with a field sales rep, and then they grew it into B2B web shop, and then they extended it out to B2C. We also have in there under the e-procurement tools, we have order punch out, supplier portal, and e-catalog. So again, if we can do something around shared catalogs, it makes the proposition a lot simpler for businesses to extend out into different channels. So there's lots of information on this on our website, and if you've been on any of our webinars, we've talked about this model a lot before, but I think it's really important to understand with D2C that you need something where you can add on and adapt and react to changes in the market with your different sales channels, and you're not managing them each separately. So yes, obviously we're focusing more on the e-commerce today on our web shop, which is fully mobile responsive, hosted with Amazon Web Services, so secure and very scalable. So I'm just going to step through quite quickly now, in the interest of time, some of the kind of more retail features that are available on our site that maybe particularly some of our customers that are on here today that have used more of the B2B haven't really seen how what's available with the B2C side of things. So I'll just swap over.
I could just remind everybody, if you'd like to pass some questions, as Eleanor said earlier, through the messaging system on the GoToWebinar app, that would be fantastic, and we'll try and take those at the end.
Thanks. So you're all seeing a web store now?
Looking good, Eleanor, yes.
Good, great. So too many screens. So here I am as a retail customer or somebody that's searched for something. I've come onto this site. Now, actually, generally, you wouldn't come in via the home page. You'd be searching for a product or a kind of product. You'd probably come in at the category page or actually on the individual product page. But we're just coming through the home page at this point. You can see, obviously, it's a full e-commerce site. These are all content blocks. You can make the changes and adapt them as you need to. So again, what everyone goes to generally is a one box search. So we're in there straight away. And as you type and use, it will start to search and select appropriate matches for you. It will select against product code, product name, also against categories as well. So we can quickly go in there and actually, yeah, I was looking for this Sony radio and add that item to cart. I'm showing pricing, including VAT. I'm showing just a stock label rather than stock figures with an indicator there that's completely configurable for you. And you can put as much information again against these products as you need. You can put, PDFs as well and videos and anything else that you might need on there. You can also obviously go through and go through the category structures and navigate through there, filter and refine down to what you're looking for. So if we go on to our phones page here, again, we've got another page of about our phones with featured products and our subcategories. So I know I want to buy a Samsung phone, for example, so I'm filtering and refining down. I know I want it to be green, and we've come down to this one item here, which is actually on sale, which is fantastic. Within the product here, we can see we've got different colors and we've got different memory sizes as well here. And based on what we choose here, you can see that the pricing changes quite significantly. There's some very good bargains on this web shop if you need to take down the URL. And all that information, again, is available for me. So we can add that item to the cart as well. If we get into the cart itself here, we've got different options about collections. So if you open any stores or depots or trade counters, actually, do you want to offer the ability to go and pick this up, or do you want to just deliver everything? You can also offer coupons and vouchers against the orders. So I've now got a 20% web discount. So if you want to send out any promotional items, then you can do. And then you have a number of options with checking out. Most people in retail will choose guest checkout because actually we're all quite lazy. And if it's just as easy, we'll just go through and we'll just, put the details in every time. So I'll just put an address in here. And this is just against this order. It's not creating an account for me. I need to put an email address in as well. I think that's all I need. And I'll just use my delivery address as my billing address. And we've got here, again, a summary of the order with the discount. We're split out with shipping costs as well. And I've got different payment methods here. So PayPal, credit card.
We seem to have just lost Eleanor there. So we just give her a
Take a
moment.
payment from
There
that.
we go. Great. Sorry, Eleanor, continue on.
Sorry, did you lose me?
Just for a moment, but I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably why the payment gateway, I was just popping out the payment gateway and it didn't work. That's probably why I lost connection. But obviously you got the payment gateway from within there. But if you want to, you can also create accounts online. So if you haven't got an account already, they can sign up for a card. We've got, because this works at B2B and B2C, a retail or a trade account here. And we can just put up that information here and very quickly create the account. Or you can obviously log in with your retail account here, and it will hold that order against you there. within the account then, because I have a retail account, I still have some of the same information that you have seen with my B2B customers. So I still can see my order history, what I ordered from you, which I can view again. I've got my delivery addresses, so I've got my delivery address book here, so I can use these against different orders as well. So really a lot of, well, most of the functionality, if not all, that you'd expect from a retail site in a site that I'm showing you now, which is enabled for B2B and B2C. And hopefully in a very quick webinar, you just managed to see that you can come on, find what you want and check out. But I think we'll just have to stop on that piece. If anybody wants to see any more of this in detail, obviously you can give us a call and we can show you that a little bit more. Whiz back to the slide. So top 5 takeaways as ever. Consider how your business has been affected in the last few months. Is D2C going to be some sort of a reassurance or an insurance channel? If it is, how best is it for you to go D2C? Have a think about the different models and suggestions we've put over to you today. But remember, obviously, having a single platform allows you to manage multiple channels much more easily and efficiently and react to the changes in market as you need to. Consider other aspects of this, not just the e-commerce, the fulfillment and the operations. Remember that customers are going to get closer and closer and closer to you. A lot of this is because of the changes and how social media now influences us, that we can talk direct via Twitter or Instagram to a brand. So we're expecting a direct relationship with our manufacturers and distributors. And finally, as we keep saying, these buying habits have changed and they're not going to return to the previous behaviors. So they were the kind of key points that we wanted to bring across on this. Sorry, we've gone slightly over time. Do we have any questions come in at all?
Yes, we seem to. So thanks for that, Eleanor. So I'll take some of these questions, perhaps. So Helen has asked for the B2B2C option, so the option where the catalog is shared with your customers who operate e-commerce websites. Do these retailers have issues with other retailers having identical products, ranges, or websites? So that's very common. Obviously, Nike sell product, and there are many online retailers, and they all have identical product listed on them. So in itself, that's not an issue. Each retailer catalog, though, Helen, is customizable in that that end business, the retail e-commerce site, could, for example, choose a different catalog structure. They may optimize that. They may have different content. But obviously making that easy for them so that they don't have to update technical specifications, new products appear automatically if you wish, so their range is always up to date. Discontinued products are removed. It's obviously a huge time saving for everybody and allows your customers to do what they're best at, which may be selling direct to retail. So I hope that covers that one. What's the difference between D2C and B2C? So I guess the main difference is that there are two business models being operated by direct to consumer. So we likely have a wholesale distribution business who's also offering a retailer B2C option. So it makes a lot of sense these days. And the other big advantage, of course, as I said, is that all of us do our research online. So just having the ability to expose that catalog may drive new account business and inquiries for you. It may be a strategy for you to go direct to market with maybe a premium or specialist product, or to increase your own margins, as Eleanor has pointed out. So they're the main differences. We also have another question here. If I have an existing B2B website and want to launch a second for D2C, will it be starting from scratch? So no. So a lot of the things we've kind of touched on here, I guess today, we've maybe forgotten one key element, which is the integration of the platform here that you can see on screen. So the good news is we're reusing all this information from the ERP, and we're integrating all the ordering and the payments process back into the ERP. So the tools you use today, Aphix and your ERP, are the same tools. It's very easy to launch a second or a third digital channel on the Aphix platform. So that really makes it fast and very easy to do so. It's also very easy to control what products are on which website. So that makes things very easy. And of course, you're managing your pricing and your stock centrally in your business system, in your ERP. Again, a tool you use every day in the business, you rely on, and all your reporting comes from a central place. So really is the perfect marriage in many ways between a digital platform and the ERP when you're looking at a new channel like this. Eleanor, maybe I'll throw this one at you if that's okay. Not because it's controversial,
Yeah, I can
but
see
just
the
to,
question you're going to send me.
yeah. Will it damage the relationship with my customers if I
Mm.
start competing with them for business?
Yeah, you really do need to think this one through. This isn't an issue that you can necessarily solve with software, because it's about your propositioning. So, I've worked with a lot of businesses in the kind of 20 years in multi-channel that I've been here, and some of them will spin up a completely separate brand, different phone numbers, different address, as much as they can to be very, very separate their um, to their other wholesale brand, because they don't want to upset it. I think you need to look about where you might do this. So if you look at, maybe offering this as channels into new markets where you haven't got these relationships already, then that is something as well. The other thing I've seen, which we haven't actually talked about, this has occurred to me today, is I've seen brands host these D2C websites, and then when the orders come through, they pass them through to their distributors to fulfill from their local brand presence. So again, with an integrated platform like this, you do have a few options like that. So yeah, you have to think about how you're going to manage and how you're going to talk to your wholesalers about this offer, and how you're going to work it. And sometimes the other thing is that people will have a higher price. You would offer a higher price at the D2C than maybe a wholesaler or distributor or retailer would offer. So
Yeah,
a
really,
few
really
things to
good
think
point.
about
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, no, good points. Of course, the other fact is this is happening anyway. So I think a lot of people in
Mm,
supply chain understand this. And as I say, you're not there to compete with them. You're just, there's a market, they're going to your competitors. So we're just making sure that we retain our customers in total. So it's happening anyway is part of that.
yeah.
So we have a couple of shout outs here, just feel like a radio show now. But hi to Paul from Pharmacy Supplies. Hi, Paul. So he's just saying thanks for his own web shop solution that we've supplied to Pharmacy Supplies, and looking forward to the launch of the customer app, which Pharmacy Supplies have just invested in. So thank you, Paul, I should say.
Oh, that's very nice.
Nice to get that as a question. So some other more technical things. Joseph asks, just wondering if it's possible to operate two price lists on the customer app. So
Okay.
we have a customer branded app. These are coming in. So I think the short answer is yes, Joseph, but we'll just follow up and make sure that we've fully understood that question. But yes, I think is the answer. The questions around VAT rules. So this is a really
Mm,
important one, actually. Particularly not easy enough if we're looking at UK or Europe. Obviously, where VAT is well understood and simple. But if you're looking at the USA, for example, as a market, sales tax, and not just the collection of sales tax, but the reporting requirements around sales tax are quite significant. So we partner with a company called Avalara, who actually are specialists in this whole tax area, and we have an integration with that company. So I think if you're looking at the US in particular, just do some research, come talk to us. We can help you with that. But if you're looking at VAT, for example, on products, we can obviously, again, VAT is driven and the sales tax is driven by the ERP. It's presented to your direct customers then as obviously a VAT inclusive price. But as people log in, if you're using a common website, they can log in as a trade customer, and then of course they will see the excluding VAT rate. So full multi-price driven by the ERP, full support for VAT, both in a retail and a B2B sense. So thanks for that question. And I have another one here. Can I confirm that retail customers, if they have accounts set up, can review their order history? Yes, that this is the case. So they'll obviously see all of their retail orders from the past. So repeat buying as a retail customer is possible, and I can see that order history. And if need be, we can integrate with obviously third-party tracking software for the tracking of deliveries and shipping. Okay, I think that's all we have there for the moment. Eleanor, would you like to finish on any point?
So yeah, very, very quickly again, just a shameless plug for some more webinars. So yeah, the next one we've already started preparing for. We really want to get into something which we have termed wardrobe management or uniform management. We're slightly between names at the moment, but about managing the purchasing of uniforms and PPE equipment. Seems quite specialist actually when you get into it, that it can be used in quite a lot of situations. So this is something that we're offering around the kind of procurement process, so helping the buyers purchase from you. So that is our next one. And then further on in July, we're going to get a little bit further into the other procurement tools we have around, supplier portal, and talk a little bit about Punch Out, because that's become quite a popular, if that's the right word, request in the last few months from our customer base. So we're doing more of those order Punch Out projects we thought would be worth updating you all on. So you'll get lots of emails, I'm sure, from our team trying to register you on for the next ones. It'd be great to see you again. If you've any feedback on this, again, we will be in contact, but please come direct to us if you've got any questions or anything you want to pick up with us. And other than that, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It's great to see so many of you on the session again. Thank you.